Hello to you and happy Thanksgiving. If you're watching this video after Thanksgiving, happy whatever holiday you got coming up next, I don't really care. Before we begin this delectable and juicy roast of a film review, I would like to give special thanks for my lovely and virile Patreons, and so to John Borg, James Gibbons, and my new Patreon, Bradley Emil Julian. Thank you so much for supporting this turkey and the stupid things he loves to do. Of course, if you're not a Patreon but would like to be, you can always become one by visiting the link in the video description below. It's completely optional, but just remember, enjoying these videos without contributing is basically like stealing, and Santa is watching extra close this time of year. And so, with the shameless begging out of the way, let's begin! Every holiday has an army of horror movies themed around it. Usually these are pretty terrible films, but every now and again, you get a movie like Thankskilling, which is really horrible. Thankskilling is a 2008 horror comedy directed by Jordan Downey, written by Jordan Downey, Brad Schultz, and Kevin Stewart, and starring Natasha Cordova, Lindsay Anderson, Lance Predmore, Aaron Rinsler Carlson, and Ryan E. Francis. In it, an evil, wisecracking turkey from Pilgrim times rises from its 500-year sleep and goes on a murderous rampage. I know what you're thinking. That sounds hilarious. Only the most inept filmmakers in history could screw up that concept. Well... First, an advisory. I try to run a relatively clean and somewhat family-friendly YouTube channel here, but Thankskilling is going to have me stretching the euphemisms quite a bit. So don't blame me for this movie's mature subject matter, or more precisely, this movie's immature subject matter. That being said, this movie really sets the bar in the first shot. The film opens in 1621 as a topless pilgrim woman is chased down by an evil turkey. Why is she topless? No idea. She's a woman, I guess, and that's what the audience is expecting. Isn't that funny? The turkey then quips, "Nice," before killing her. And that's the scene. Really? That's it. I'm not joking. That is also the pinnacle that this movie reaches and never quite achieves again. Now it's time for the opening credits, and if you like repetitive synth, the likes of which you might find in an 8-bit video game from the Blockbuster bargain bin, this will be your jam. Me, I wanted to put an ice pick in my ear after the first 30 seconds. We jump forward to the modern day where we meet 5 college students who all look like they're in their 30s. We have the most basic stock characters imaginable, such as Kristen the good girl, Johnny the jock, Allie the airhead, Billy the redneck, and Darren the nerd. I swear, Darren looks like he's 40 years old. The first thing you notice about this movie is that it's trying too hard to be purposely bad. It's trying to be one of those so bad they're good movies. But I don't think it's possible to be so bad it's good on purpose. I've never seen a movie that was made to be bad, ending up being good. The dialogue is stilted, the performances are horrid, and you don't see so bad it's good. You just see stilted dialogue and bad performances. You just get a bad movie. Meanwhile, out in the woods, the evil turkey is awakened when a dog pees on a souvenir totem pole. The turkey makes the most obvious joke possible, "I'm pissed," and then kills the dog, because that's funny? And then we get this scene.
That coffee tastes like sh**. What'd you do? Take a dump in it?
As a matter of fact, I sure did. I want a divorce!
I got nothing. Also, could that mustache be any faker? The friend's Jeep breaks down, and the group gets way too excited about sleeping on the side of the road. We also get more dialogue jewels like this.
Maybe if you get drunk enough, Johnny, you could look under my hood.
Was that a GIF? Did they honestly just use a low-res GIF of the moon in a movie? It's then that Darren falls down, distracted by the fact that he's almost old enough to be a grandfather, and finds out they are actually at Crawburg, the site of the most infamous event in Pilgrim history, where an Indian was dishonored by a pilgrim.
My ex-boyfriend was a pilgrim.
Shut up, Allie! It seems an Indian necromanced a turkey to kill any white person it comes across. Of course, the gang doesn't believe Darren because the story's just stupid.
Well, it's kind of a legend, guys. There are tons of books written about it. Turkeyologists all over the world.
Did he honestly just use the word turkeyologist? This begs the question that if the turkey is bound to only kill white people, which is understandable because we do suck, why kill the dog? Is this movie implying that the dog is Caucasian? Are other dog breeds equivalent to other ethnicities? What dog is black? What dog is Asian? These are the thoughts that kept me out of the good schools. Speaking of canines, a hillbilly comes across the remains of his dog from earlier in the movie.
Your dog had an accident.
What kind of accident?
Well, I took this here axe and I accidentally cut him. Get it?
Notice that he's not at all concerned that an actual turkey is talking to him. The movie is only about an hour long, so I guess they didn't have time for that kind of logical nonsense.
Why? Why? Where's my wife? No, you flashy.
Acting! Chrissy doesn't have service on her cell, and so she walks a few feet until she does. What? Is she worried that the cell signals are going to sneak up on her? What was that about? The evil turkey appears and Chrissy screams. Just like the first scene of the movie, we get a turkey quip that I guess was supposed to be funny.
Shut the fuck up! You're stupid!
Which is followed by this.
I'm gonna drink your blood like cranberry sauce, meanie!
Huh? I've never really agreed that puns are the lowest form of comedy. If you ask me, it's simile. Bad similes. And they really don't get much worse than this. She tells the gang about the turkey and they don't believe her, even after literally looking around for 2 seconds and then deciding to go to bed. No, really, time it.
Well, I don't see anything. Let's just go to bed.
Chrissy gets angry that they're not taking her warning of a murderous turkey seriously, and so she goes to bed, inside of a flimsy vinyl tent, which makes total sense. Shortly after that, the evil turkey chucks a stuffed rabbit into the campfire, which garners some of the strangest reactions I've ever seen, even in a comedy. And then they decide to go to bed anyway. It's like these characters want to die at this point. Even more than I do. The next day, Billy is awakened by the hillbilly, who tells him that he stood guard over them all night to keep the turkey from killing them because an unkempt mountain man watching 5 college students sleep in the woods all night isn't creepy at all. He could have just woke them up and confirmed Christie's story, but that would have made too much sense. Peeping Tom Guardian Angel it is. The hillbilly warns them all to leave and disappears back into the woods, hoping to find a group of girls skinny dipping in the creek, obviously. Heeding his advice and hoping to get as far away from him as possible, the gang fix their car and leaves. The turkey follows them, but not before getting propositioned by a passing driver, because this is that type of movie. You know, the type of movie where everyone is a buffoon and no one is the straight man. because those always work out so well. They drop Allie off, and we get this amazing joke.
It's like her legs are harder to shut than the John Benet Ramsey case.
Oh! Dang! Damn, that was good!
You know, when a movie tries to congratulate itself on a joke, it's like a hype crew for a bad rapper. Johnny goes home where he and his father are on the outs because Johnny broke a bone and didn't make the college football team. I know a lot of you are probably thinking, wait, Johnny's dad hates him because he didn't make the football team? That's outrageous! Folks, as someone who grew up in West Texas, I can assure you that is the most realistic part of this movie. Parental love around here really is dependent on sports performance. But that doesn't matter because the turkey shows up and murders Johnny's terrible parents.
Why, God? Why? No more pumpkin pie? No more cranberry sauce? Just turkey.
Oh, Jesus. The next part of the movie is going to be a bit difficult to talk about because I like to keep my channel PG at worst, so let me speak in code. Allie and a random boy she met are having a passionate hug when the turkey appears, murders the boy, and then he continues to deliver the passionate hug to Ollie without her knowledge. Then the turkey says,
You just got stuffed!
and kills her, and it's played for a laugh. If you may indulge me for a moment. A few years ago, Steven Seagal hosted Saturday Night Live and is generally considered by those who watch the show and those who are actually on the show to be the worst host they've ever had in the history of the program. He proposed absolutely offensive script ideas, like where he plays a therapist to Victoria Jackson who was going to play a rape victim, and then Seagal would spend the entire sketch trying to have sex with her. Julius Sweeney called it heinous and hilariously awful, and it was so bad that SNL said, no, we are not doing that, because even Saturday Night Live knew it wasn't funny, and that says a lot. That is why this scene bugs me so much. It's sexual assault played for laughs. I understand that this movie was put together by a bunch of edgelords trying to push a wet envelope because they, like so many others, think that offensive automatically equals funny, but it doesn't. Just like gross doesn't automatically equal funny, or awkward doesn't automatically equal funny. Comedy is deceptively hard to write. So much so that every frat bro thinks they can do it, and that's where we get creepy scenes like this that aren't outrageous, aren't gross, and aren't funny. They're just stupid and wrong, and makes me wonder what the hell is wrong with these people.
Don't even talk like that, Billy.
And who the hell directed this? So the others find out that Ollie has been raped and murdered. Ha ha. And the turkey arrives at Chrissy's house and fools her dad with the disguise, which leads to a scene that totally doesn't get old within a couple of seconds. The turkey murders Chrissy's dad and then wears his face as a disguise, which, of course, fools everyone in the movie because they're idiots. The kids are coming to Chrissy's dad's house, by the way, because he has a book collection, and they think they can read up on ways to kill this turkey, which makes no sense in itself. Not that books wouldn't have a way to stop this evil turkey, but because of all of the insinuations that Christy's dad would have a book collection in the first place. They discover the turkey has a talisman that they must separate from him to kill him, and the rest of the book is written in code that they have to decipher because this is exactly the kind of information you want to keep from people in an emergency. The turkey is discovered, and
A long time ago,
We know.
one of your ancestors
We know
disrespected our
this.
people really,
we
really
know,
badly.
we know,
And so
we
it's payback.
know! They grab the talisman from the turkey, and the turkey runs away. Is it really this hard to keep a flightless bird from escaping? Speaking as a hefty boy myself, I would totally pin that bird to the ground. And they have a hefty boy on hand. I'm just saying, this movie relies on the stupidity of its characters to keep the plot going. It's literally right then that Darren cracks the code and reveals they have to burn the turkey at the stake and recite a demonic prayer to destroy him. It's so weird that this turkey was necromanced by a Native American, but the crux of the magic keeps defaulting to Western beliefs. It's almost like no thought at all was put into this movie, but that's just silly. Billy is then killed by the turkey.
Gobble gobble, mother.
And then we get this nonsense where Darren cries over Billy's body, and it goes on and on, like that scene where Dr. Evil and his gang laugh, but it never hits because it's just awkward and dumb, and goes on way too long. The gang tracked the turkey down to a teepee, because Native American turkey, I guess, and get the drop on him. They read the demonic prayer and rob the turkey of his invulnerability. The turkey escapes and is shot by Deus Ex Hillbilly. This leads to some dialogue which I must admit is actually very funny.
Yeah, I'm really sorry about your dog.
One of these days, you kids there, you might feel what I feel when losing somebody you love, like your mother, your father, or your best friend.
I give credit where credit is due. Now, they don't burn the turkey at the stake like they were instructed to do because they're idiots. So of course the turkey, now radioactive because of course he is, returns and kills Darren and attacks Johnny with an electric turkey carver. Chrissy and an injured Johnny run for it, and Chrissy sets the turkey on fire, finally following directions and killing the demonic bird. Johnny dies, the turkey dies, and my faith in independent film dies. Obviously, my thoughts on Thankskilling are not that positive, like, at all. I don't mind the amateurish look of the movie or the cheapness of the special effects. I actually thought that the store-bought hand puppet turkey was charming, until it said something. My problem is that through all of its attempts to be artificially edgy and bad on purpose, hoping to make a cult classic, Thankskilling falls, and falls hard. It fails because it thinks that being a cult classic is an easily recreatable formula, but it's not. If this formula could be replicated, it would be replicated more often. It's literally lightning in a bottle, and Thankskilling is a glow stick in a colostomy bag. It also fails as a comedy, not only because it just isn't funny, but also because it relies on the entire cast being the buffoon and having no one be the straight man, and never allows the exaggerated, ridiculous parts of the movie to be played as normal. Every joke is telegraphed and held up like Simba in The Lion King, as though the movie is super proud of what it did, even though their Simba is disappointing. This is simply a movie that shows no subtlety because I honestly don't think it respects the intelligence of its audience one bit. Then you have the edgelord writing. I'm going to say this again even though I've said it before, but people need to hear it. Edginess does not equal funny. A movie like South Park, Bigger, Longer, and Uncut was extremely edgy in its humor, but that edge drove the plot and was integrated in an intelligent way. I really think it was the breaking leg of this movie that the writers thought comedy was easy when it actually is one of the most difficult things you can write and execute, because anything in the chain can destroy it. And in this case, it seems like everything in the chain did. Would it be too easy to call this movie a turkey? Well, this movie went for all the easy humor, so why can't I? Thankskilling is bad, but in its defense, it was trying to be bad, and so, in a way, I guess it was a success? Good job? But it does fail in everything else it was aiming for. It's not so bad it's good, it's just bad. It's a massive failure, and an embarrassing one at that. I mean, Thankskilling knows what it is and never tries to be anything different. The problem is, Thankskilling knows what it is and doesn't try to be anything different. Watching this movie is like listening to four drunken frat boys try and fail to tell a joke where they try as hard as they can to gross each other out, thinking that they are absolutely hysterical while everyone else is rolling their eyes and checking their watch. Thankskilling isn't good. It's the opposite of good. It's not good. And that's Thankskilling. Are you a fan? If so, drop a comment below and tell me what a stuck-up idiot I am. And then seek professional help because there is something obviously deeply wrong with you. Before you do, however, please like and subscribe because that'll show me good. Happy Thanksgiving to all of you out there. Please be safe, look after yourselves, and remember that you are good enough, you are smart enough, and doggone it, people like you. And be sure to join us next time to find out what Jason watches.